Hey there, and welcome to another one of my videos. If you aren't already familiar with me or my work, my name is Mpumi K. Mbonane, and I am a purpose alignment strategist. Okay, so in this particular video, I'm going to be answering a question that came in after I shared my story on how I transitioned from the mining industry into the banking industry. This question came from a guy who says he is qualified as an industrial psychologist and would like to be a market research analyst. So he would like to know, if he's got limited knowledge and education in that particular area, how can he get into that area? I'm going to answer this question in a very unorthodox way. You are going to have to be very open-minded about how I'm going to answer this question. But one thing we can all agree on is that if we're trying to do things the old way and try to get new results, we're going to fall flat on our faces. The time of only submitting your CV onto a job application has long passed. For some people, that works, but for most people, it doesn't. There are crickets whenever you send your CV and there's no response or positive response to the job that you're trying to get. So there's got to be a different way of getting employed without looking for a job the traditional way. If you are interested in what this other way is, I'm very happy to share it with you. You're just going to have to first subscribe to the channel, please, but secondly, just watch the rest of the video to hear all the good stuff. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Okay, before I get knee deep into this video, I want us to get something very clear. I want you to know that you never really know what goes on the inside until you are on the inside yourself. So this thing of saying, I want to be a what, can actually stand in the way of you fulfilling things that you would really like to fulfill because you're fixated on a job title or a role. What you have in mind could very well not be what happens on the ground. For example, I'm an analyst. And if you know what analysts do, is that they're very big number crunchers. Analysts look at stats, they look at data, and then they generate reports on those things. I do that at work as well, but that's not the only thing that I do. So for example, we have a regional head, but my team doesn't necessarily have a regional manager. And a regional manager is someone who manages sales, all right? So who manages the sales and the sales people. Okay, so how I envision that going about is really monitoring sales, monitoring pipeline. So I use certain metrics to evaluate and just monitor the health of our pipeline. What I also do alongside my regional head is that we work on sales strategies, on income and revenue strategies. So I do a whole lot of things that my analyst role doesn't really require. Why? Because more than just crunching numbers, my team requires somebody who's going to look at finances, who's going to look at the data, and who's going to have to make decisions and recommendations based on that data. Somebody who's going to be very live and monitoring and very active in coming up with strategies on how things can get better, because what they do is sales, and sales is driven by strategy and insights. Another thing that I do is that I help with research and actually generating insights for sales. But if all I was fixated on was the analyst role, I wouldn't be doing all these other things. But I know that there's a problem and I'm willing to solve that problem. So drop this whole, I want to be a specialist or an analyst or what, and actually start solving a problem. And then the job title will come. Okay, so here are a few things that I would like you to implement if you're trying to move into a space or get employment in a role that you don't have educational background and knowledge in. Firstly, I want you to speak to someone who is already in that role. What you're going to have to do is go on to LinkedIn. That is the best place to find professionals who are in corporates who are doing specific things. So for example, the person who's asking about being a market research analyst, go onto LinkedIn and type market research analyst. A plethora of names will be presented to you. Pick one face that you think you like, or pick somebody who's very active and you think will give you valuable information, and start talking to this person. When you speak to this person, you'll actually hear if what they do is actually what you want. You'll actually hear from them what the requirements of being that person is. But more than that, I'd actually like you to ask questions that will give you something to work on. So find out from this person, what is it that they really do? What gaps are they experiencing? What challenges are being posed at them? What battles do they have? Where is the future of that industry going? What problems need solving? What things do they believe need fixing that they aren't getting fixed right now? Find out as much as you can about their particular field, about their particular role, so that you can have something to work on. This is way before you're in the role, or way before you have asked to get into the role. All you've done is get information on what you can then use to do what I'm going to tell you to do. Okay, so you've heard from this guy what challenges they have, what problems they need solving, what gaps there are in their markets, and all the problems that they have. Okay, and then what I want you to do is to start researching. Research what their competitors are doing that they aren't doing. So you'll find, for example, if you want to get into ABSA, you'll find what is Standard Bank doing in this area that ABSA isn't doing well. Because when you find that out, you have leverage that you can present to ABSA. So find out what their competitors are doing. Look into leading countries or leading industries. Find out what it is that they're implementing that our country isn't implementing. Research on laws, on regulations, everything about this particular field or this particular industry. And then I want you to derive or generate solutions to solve these problems. Find out from research, take things from what other people are doing well and try to incorporate them into an original solution. And sometimes you don't even need an original solution. You don't need to reinvent the wheel as much as you need to just introduce people to something they aren't already familiar with. And then I want you to say, this is what will cost, this is what the cost of not implementing the solution will be. Detail all of that. What are the benefits of implementing the solution? What are the costs and the risk that is run by not implementing these things? Find out which ones are easily or better implemented and which one will give effective results. Also then find out what will it cost, and not just monetarily but time, resources, and all of that. So now you know what the problem is. Now you've got potential solutions to the problem. What do you do with this information? You start communicating the information. Get in front of the eyes of people who want this problem solved. Go back into LinkedIn, but this time don't go to somebody who's already doing what you want to do. Go to somebody who is higher, a manager, a head, a partner, the CEO, the CFO, the treasurer, whoever it is that can benefit from your problem, whoever it is that is directly affected, whoever's bottom line is directly affected by the problem that you're trying to solve, and starts sending maybe writing articles or recording videos, or just giving out information readily and making sure that they see it. So on their company portals, if they've got conversations going on, comment with the insights that you've generated or with the solution that you've come up with. If need be, if it gets that far, throw in a paid ad for the right people to see the solution that you're trying to propose. Or if LinkedIn is not the best place, if there are conventions where these people are, go there and start networking with them, start speaking to them. If there are meets and greets that are open to the public, share your information, but make sure that you communicate the value that you have, because they're going to hire somebody who's going to solve their problem. So firstly, they know that the problem exists, but they're so engrossed in their business as usual, in their BAU, that they don't have time or capacity to solve this problem. But you have come up with the solution, so give them that solution. Put it in their eyes before you're in the system. Let me tell you what will happen. They will ditch all these CVs that come that are leading with requests because you are leading with value. So gone are the days where we're just going to say, hire me, because a CV doesn't really prove that you can do the work. But showing value, showing that you can solve a problem is more than enough proof that you are exactly what they need. They will hire you because you have solved the problem for them before they could even ask you to solve the problem. So firstly, get as much knowledge on what is missing as you can. Research how to fill the gaps and communicate that solution. Lead with value before you lead with the request. You'll find that when you lead with value, you don't even need to make the request, because they will ask you, how can we get you in? How can you continue solving our problem and not solving somebody else's problem with the information and the research that you have? I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like it, share it with whoever you believe will benefit from this, but also please subscribe to the channel and stick around, because there'll be more valuable videos coming your way. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Until next time, I am Bumike Mbonani. Bye.